Who am I? My name is Christy Whistler, and I am a parent of two kids, Kate and Eric. Kate is going to be, she's 9 right now, but she's going to be, or she's 8, she's going to be 9 in just 2 weeks. And Eric is 6. Hi, Tina. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And oh my gosh, like, I didn't know what I was being asked to do when I became a parent. I went in with all these expectations. You have kids, they start walking at a certain time, they start talking, you send them to school. Like, I had all these expectations that I had gotten from my parents and from society and our culture. And then I had these kids. And it became very evident very quickly that I was going to have to let go of, honestly, almost all of those expectations. I just had to let it go because that's not who my kids were, and that's not who they were needing of me to be. So through my experience of walking this path of breaking away from all the conventional, traditional ways of doing things, I fell down a lot, and I didn't have a lot of guidance along the way. Like, I was really in dark places and scary places, and all around me was just negativity and judgment that I didn't feel was true for who my kids were. And it was a lonely road to walk, and I really had to start trusting in myself, which was also not something that I had been taught, and which society was actually actively, in my experience, yours could be completely different, but in my experience, it was actively trying to take away my power, to convince me that I was wrong about my kids. But that actually isn't true at all, because they're my kids and I am the expert of my kids, just like you are the expert of your kids and who they are. But holy moly, coming from like that point to where I am now has been a years-long journey. And again, very lonely, very scary, and just having to really sit in my trust and my power and reclaim all of that, reclaim my intuition, reclaim my sovereignty as a parent, as a person, to reclaim my voice, to have the strength to say, no, you are not right. You do not know who my children are. So it was through this process, through this road, that I started helping other parents along the way. And I'll kind of get into more specifics about that. But that's kind of what led me here to you and to this offering of the intuitive parent evolution. And this new business that I am starting to help to support parents and where they are on their journey. All right, so what is the intuitive parent? I see it as a new way of approaching our relationship with our kids, being in play with them, being in partnership with them, being in presence with them. It's really about being an intuitive parent and saying no to everything that doesn't fit right for you, that doesn't sit right for you. And to really kind of disentangle from the fear and actually hit at what is your intuition, what is your gut saying, what is your heart saying about this child and this way of doing things. And again, that's totally different. And I didn't start out as an intuitive parent. I had to really go through and reclaim a lot of that for myself. And I want to support and help other parents on that journey and on that way, to trust in our kids. And in order to do that, we have to trust in ourselves as parents and as individuals. And all of our paths are going to be different. So that's what this is. I am supporting and coaching parents and kids to find and follow your unique path through this world. That you are not going to be alone. To step away from the old, whatever it is for you that's not working, and to find the new, to find yours, to find where you are going. All right, so there's a bunch of you here. I'm so glad. Does anybody here have kids? How old are they? I would love to know about you and your story if you would like to share. So, for me, this is actually, I have Hedgehog, my dove, flying around right now. And he was just kind of attacking the baby wipes. So there's this like, or the little bag. Oh, Dina, yes, you have super kids. 10, 8, and 4. And Dina was one of the first people that I really started like kind of working with one-on-one and actually in person, you know, when we could do a lot of that stuff in person. And I've just completely watched her transform her life and her kids. Oh, Kathy. Oh, that is so sweet. 6 and 7. Are they really that old already? Oh my gosh. So, I've written a lot about my story. Hi, Jackie. That's my cousin, guys. I've written a lot about my story. I've written a lot of fiction stories even. I've written a lot of articles on my experiences. So I started out as a writer. I was like, my expectation, I was going to be a fiction writer. Like that was my goal. That was the thing that I was going to do. And then I had these kids. So as I was going through this process, I started writing to try to kind of make sense for me, but I also really wanted other parents to know that they weren't going through their stuff alone. But writing is much different than being like face to face, like on video and sharing stories. So I'm really feeling like a lot of nervous energy about really being public, really coming out and sharing my story and who my kids are, because judgment's a huge thing in our society. And I've faced a lot of that, especially as a mom, especially as a parent of these kids. So I'm going to tell you a little tiny bit about my story and Kate and Eric. So they both have had language challenges. And again, right, back to expectations. You expect your child to start talking around 1. It's when their first words start coming in. Mine didn't. Kate didn't start talking until she was 4. And Eric didn't start talking until he was 5. And it's not just expressive. This is expressive. My speaking to you is expressive. They also had receptive language delays, which means they didn't understand well the words that we were speaking to them. So that is what propelled me on this journey of changing everything I thought I knew about parenting. And it's still a hard, sticky story for me to tell. It was scary, and that's why I'm doing this. Because when I was going through it, I felt alone. I didn't have anyone telling me, your children are perfect, exactly the way that they are. Instead, my experience, okay, again, we're all different. So that's kind of my preface for everything that I do. We are different. please take what resonates with you and just let go of what doesn't. Your story is going to be different. My story is my story. I have 2 kids. They're totally different in many ways. So again, just kind of preface, this is my experience that I went through. So Sean and I, if you know us, we are generally quiet individuals. We're introverts. So we don't actually talk a whole lot. So for us, Kate coming in and not talking a whole lot was very normal to us. And it wasn't like she didn't have any words. She would do like this, one word here. So when we would go in for our checkups, our doctor, our pediatrician, wasn't very attentive, was very rushed appointments and all that. Didn't really sit down and talk with us. But she would ask me, oh, does she have 5 words? And I would say yes, because I could count them. She had this, and this. She's a cat, and ma, dad, like that all counted, right? But what she didn't do was keep it up. Like the words, she would say them a few times, and then she'd tuck them away. So it's like she had the words. I knew them, I heard them, and then they would just go away. So when she was 2 years and 7 months, we went in for a checkup. And that is what kind of really started changing everything for us. And many parents, when they have their child and there's something different about them, I don't want to say like not normal, because it doesn't feel good to me. I really like different, unique, special. So what happened was this sudden freak out from our doctor. Oh my gosh, and like, here's this checklist. Can you go through this checklist? And it was basically looking for red flags. And from there, it was a whisk into, oh, well, you should see the neurologist. Oh, you should definitely get speech therapy. Oh, she should have her hearing checked. And like all these things. And oh yeah, you should contact this one place. Insurances don't usually cover that, but you should talk to them. And oh, early intervention, go there. It's free, they can help you. And so we were suddenly like, oh, okay, like thrust into this world of worry and fear. And there's Hedgehog. He might come over, we'll see. And my one and only experience was with early intervention. So Hedgehog landed on the back of Eric's chair. And Eric doesn't fully like it, but you're laughing and smiling. And so he's shaking the chair, trying to get the bird to leave. But the bird really likes Eric. Eric doesn't really like this. I know, wolves anyway. That's why I was laughing. So we went to early intervention. And the experience completely changed me. I went in expecting these people. Again, my experience, you could have had an amazing experience with yours. So this is just my story, my experience, how I was treated. We went in and we had this expectation that they would want to help our daughter, that they want to help Kate. And that wasn't. Oh, thank you, Hedgehog. I appreciate that. He's probably going to come over here and start playing with the wire of my microphone. Oh, you know what? I can show it to you. Hang on 1 second, guys. Where's Hedgehog? There he is. Yeah, that's you in there, buddy. See, oh, yep, see, there he's going. There's the wire. Well, where are you going? I gotta put the phone back down there, buddy. Anyway, it was a hard experience. I went in expecting that they would want to help me with my daughter. help her, to talk, to support her. And instead, I walked in and there was the woman who was the evaluator. She was not a friendly person, to be honest. She was not the type of person who a kid who was, shy and introverted and really only trusted, like, you kind of had to earn her trust. You had to be willing to engage with her on her level. And that's not who this person was. And Kate wasn't comfortable. And going through this process was not really listening to what... Oh, thank you, Dina. I appreciate you being here so much. And it wasn't about Kate. It was about all the things that were wrong with her. All the ways that she wasn't measuring up to what the standards were and what the normal kids were going through. And I didn't know this at the time because, I didn't know anything about late talking. I didn't know anything about language challenges. And they gave her a test called the Bailey's. And it was a test that if you have difficulty with receptive language, you are going to score low on this test. And so she scored really low. And the scoring low, I came out of that feeling broken. I came out of that devastated that this person spent an hour with my daughter who wanted nothing to do with her. At one point, Kate, not even 3 years old, was going to the big heavy door and trying to open it to leave. And if I had been in my intuition and my power as a parent, I would have said, absolutely, Kate, we're done. This is not working. This is not the right place for you. But I didn't. I was in a place of fear, and I was really believing. I wasn't believing, and I was believing, right? Because there was what I knew as a parent, and there's what I had been trained in the society to trust in professionals, to trust in experts. And I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I left in tears, and Sean left completely furious. Because it became evident to us by the end that the only thing that this center was really caring about was getting her services. It was getting her services from the government, money. They were more interested in teaching Kate how to sit and attend, so she would be ready for school and preschool. And what we wanted as parents, which was never asked of us, was to support her. We wanted to support her in the way that she needed. We had gone into this already knowing we were going to homeschool, and yet that was never even asked of us what we wanted. It was this absolute assumption of, you want to take your kid to school and you want to get them ready to sit and attend. And we're like, no, that's actually what we were going to do at all. And that was the start of this journey for me. I was in and I'm going to do this probably later, but I'm being really guided to share actually some of that report. There are months of memory that I do not have. I have full months of Eric being a baby that I don't remember because I was in so much fear. I was so afraid for Kate. And I was so confused because there was this tear in me between what professionals were saying and between what I knew in my heart and in my gut as her mother. And I didn't. And I had to both allow myself time to be in that fear, to process it and to feel it. And being on this journey for as long as I have now. Like I said, Kate was, she was around 2 when this started, and she'll be 9 in 2 weeks. 7 years. I've been in groups and supporting other parents who had late talking children, and I have witnessed them being in that place of fear. And I have seen other parents whose children are older now come back and say, I wish the one thing I could tell myself was to enjoy them while they were that age. Because let's face it, they're never going to be 2 again. They're never going to be 3 again. And if you allow yourself to be in that place of fear, you miss everything. You miss seeing their joy. You miss seeing their wonder at the world. Like, they don't know. They don't know. I think they energetically know what these professionals are saying. They can feel it. But they don't know. They're children. They're exploring the world. They're in wonder. When they walk by and they see an ant on the sidewalk and they just want to stare in wonder at it. And you can miss that. I miss that. Yep, there's Hedgehog. Eric was 4 months when this started. I don't have memories till he was around 8-9 months. Like, they're just gone. And that is only just the start. That has just been the start of my journey. Oh, hi, Mike. Thank you for joining. I just told a little bit about my experience with early intervention for Kate. And there's Hedgehog. He's saying hi. You know, it's so funny, Mike, because this is the first time he's flown over. And I knew he had a message for you. So that's one of my driving reasons of why I'm doing this. Because I really wish I had people in my life saying to me, it's okay. She is perfect exactly as she is. Let's help her. Let's support her in the way that she needs, but there is nothing in her that we need to change, that we need to fix, that we need to normalize. Let's just let her be her. Let's just let her be in joy, and let that be the foundation for everything. And it took me a while. For me, it was a while. It was a couple months. And it was actually through my writing. I was writing a fiction story, and I just said, I'm going to put it all in this story. Everything, how I'm feeling, all the fears that I'm going through, and being in a society that I was again being bombarded from every direction. This is wrong with her. This is wrong with her. This isn't right. This is different. Red flag, red flag. It was like I couldn't be in joy, because all the messages around me were of fear, were of worry, were of not accepting of who she was. And it took a bit. You know, like they say, bless the thing that broke you open. Well, my going through this journey, and it only just started with Kate, broke me open, and it made me step up and look at myself. And I found myself in this position of, I can either listen to my heart and what I'm feeling is right for this child, or I can let the professionals lead the way. And my gut was saying, no, no, no. If I do this, they will break her. And this is a specific for Kate, right? Every kid is different. For Kate and who she was. Now, this is just the language piece. There's also how she experiences the world. And I didn't know a lot of this at the time. It kind of came to me slowly. Now, I know that she is not only an empath, someone who can feel the emotions and energies of people around her, of our whole collective and society, take it into her body. I didn't even know this about myself at the time when I started. I had no idea. I certainly didn't know what to expect with Eric, who came along and like, oh my goodness. Let me say, I fully believe the universe had a plan, and my soul probably did too, in having Kate come first. Because Kate opened the door for me. Kate gave me the grace to learn my way through this. And I made plenty of mistakes, and she forgave me every single time. And it prepared me in the tiniest way for what I was then asked and called to do with Eric. Yeah, no. You're going to be hearing a lot about Eric. But with Kate, she also has anxiety. And that was what was eventually kind of revealed to me from the one trusted professional that I really have in my life to support me with these kids. But as I've discovered, it's actually even more than just anxiety. So for Kate, if she is not 100% accurate, if she's not 100% sure about something, safe about something, she can't do it. She won't do it. It's like she has so much stress in her body, she can't do it. And here we were at this test, you know, an early intervention, a test that she couldn't understand because she had a receptive language delay. They could have given her another kind of test that would have been more supportive for someone who doesn't understand language, but that's not what was given to her. She was given this test by a woman she didn't know, who wasn't comfortable, who was giving off all bad jujus, and this little 2-year-old is like, I want nothing to do with this lady. You're freaking scary, man. And what is language, though? Language is learning. It's practicing. It's not going to be perfect. You don't hear babies talk and it comes out perfect. Not at all. Like, there's mistakes along the way. And one of the first things I learned as I started breaking away and started saying, I'm going to do things this way, I'm going to do things this way, was making language be a safe place. So I'll kind of back up a second. We obviously didn't do what early intervention had suggested and wanted us to do. And we could have gone through our school district to get extra services, and we said no. That wasn't what we were interested in, and we knew that wasn't what was going to help her. So we said, okay, we're going to go and we're going to spend a lot of money to do private speech therapy, because that way we had control of who worked with Kate. Because we saw what happened when you have a mean, grumpy lady. Like, we had no choice on who this evaluator was. I mean, maybe we do. I would actually have to look into that. But it felt like, or that was what was kind of given to me, is I didn't really have a choice about who was coming in and doing this test. And I didn't want that to be with a speech therapist, to not have control of the place, of the person, because we just watched it already blow up once. So we said, okay, we're going to try this. Everyone's pushing speech therapy. We're going to give this a go. So we had a private speech therapist who was really wonderful and nice. She came over to our house twice a week for an hour. Insurance didn't pay for this, so this was totally out of pocket for 6 months. We spent over $10,000. And Kate enjoyed the experience. She was wonderful. She came, she was on the floor, she was playing with Kate, trying to get her to turn her voice on. And Kate knew that. Kate knew this lady's trying to get me to do something and I'm not comfortable doing it. So I'll play with you. I'm not going to do anything with my voice. I'm not even going to make a sound. So I'm experiencing this and I'm watching this, and then I say to myself, okay, I'm learning, and I'm witnessing and I'm learning these sessions. So I'm going to start doing some of these things and seeing what happens. And wouldn't you know, when Mommy starts doing them, she starts turning her voice on. And not words, but she just starts making sounds. She wouldn't even make sounds with the speech therapist. And that's when I started to realize what I need to do with her, this child, was to make language a safe place. I needed to help her to trust that it's okay to speak, that it is okay. And then I met my actual speech therapist, long distance. She sees videos mostly of the kids, who's been coaching me over these years, or at least the first few. At this point, she's just like, yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing, because my intuition is so finely honed on who my kids are. And I'm doing all the things that I need to be doing to support them. She has nothing new to offer me. But she kind of came in and started really teaching me on how I could be in this speech partnership with Kate, and then eventually with Eric. But it started with me. And then, years later, as I'm learning about my own intuition, my own abilities as a psychic, and it's like, oh, of course this is who my kids are too. As I've gone on this deeper journey and learning, this part may not resonate with you, and that's totally fine, learning about past lives. And meeting another adult late talker and who shared her story with me. And, she's got past life issues around the throat, around speaking. And it hit me so strongly that, oh my gosh, that has also been true for Kate. And the thing she needed most from me to do was to know that it was safe to talk. It was safe to be exactly who she was. It's like, okay. So that's just a small bit of my story, Kate's story. And I say all this, and yet within there was 7 years. It was 7 years of finding my way to that. And like I said, Eric was a whole nother ballgame. He came in, he had no problem turning on his voice. He was the chattiest little guy as a baby even. Kate was a very quiet baby. But there's Eric making all these sounds, and we have a video of him staring at me and going, like he's just like giving orders to somebody, gosh knows who. And then 14, 17, 18 months, he got quiet. I was like, okay, I guess I have 2 late talking kids now. Oh my goodness, I had no idea the journey Eric would take me on. I thought I would be fine. Like, I got this. I know how to do this, no problem. But, Hedgehog. He's my little angel. But when Eric came along and started really growing into himself, I thought I was an empath. I thought Kate was an empath. Oh my gosh. I have these experiences of Eric as a baby. I wore him all the time. In fact, I was still carrying him on my back. He's 6 now. Until about a year ago. We'd go on hikes, and the only way he would be calm was on my back. He needs me to help buffer him from the world. He is so sensitive that he cannot tell what is his and what is anyone else's. There's no separation. So as a baby, I'd have him at 1 and 2, he'd be on my front, and we'd be with other homeschoolers at the Frog Creek. And, you know, little ones, they fall down, they get hurt, and they cry, right? Mom picks them up, her little baby up, and there's Eric, just starts crying, and he starts hitting me. And he's doing this because it's overwhelming his senses. And he wants it to stop. And I am the safe place for him. I am the safe person. So that continued. And me having to really hold him and sit with him and his emotions and to be this place of space and calm while he was having these experiences. And it was not easy. When he was... I'm laughing. Oh my God. I can't show it to you because Eric doesn't wear clothes. But Hedgehog just flew up onto Eric's blanket, which is on his lap in the chair. And he's just like, eh. He really doesn't like it when animals touch him. But Hedgehog is just all over him this morning. Oh, he knows. Oh, that's too funny. So, with Eric, and I'll just share this little bit with you. His intensity of the world, I wasn't prepared for. Kate helped, but nothing could have really prepared me for Eric. And Amy knows. Amy knows. Hedgehog, he doesn't like that. Oh my God. No, he's just on him. He won't touch Hedgehog to make him fly away because he doesn't want to touch him. He's never quite done it like that before, just so insistent. No, Amy, sorry, he does not really. All right, let me see if I can, I might be able to show you guys a little bit from the chair. Okay, can I flip this? Yes. Okay, that's why I'm laughing. That's just his leg, but yeah. Sorry. Oh my gosh, Hedgehog, you just know. Bird just knows. You're talking about Eric. I'm gonna go bug him right now. Anyway, I had moments with Eric. I was that mom who has had to hold her child at Disneyland screaming with such intensity and like carrying him out. And not be triggered in the process and get mad and yell, like really trying to hold that place a center while my own senses were being bombarded, while having so much judgment kind of hitting me from all around. In fact, the only time where I really felt like I could breathe was when I would go into nature and I'd go camping, because suddenly all the expectations of society fell away and I was safe to let my kid be free, to be who he was. And that nature herself provided all the boundaries that he needed. I didn't have to say anything. Nature taught him. But I had experiences with Eric, which is honestly the real driving force of why I'm here and why I'm doing this. He's the type of child who doesn't sleep well at night. Again, his sensitivities of this world are so strong. When he was 2 and 3, like, he'd only sleep for 3 hours. And he'd wake up again and again. He couldn't fall back asleep by himself. He still can't fall to sleep by himself. And he would wake up screaming, and just with such intensity. And you couldn't yell at him. You couldn't just make him stop. Like, the tried and true methods of our society doesn't work on this kid. So I had to find my own ways, and I found myself literally just holding him and doing the best that I could to be safe a safe place for him to know that he was held and I was here for him. He was having an experience of this world that I still don't know what it is. They are so beyond me. And I didn't have anyone to ask at that time. Like, I was contemplating, like, reaching out to the psychic who I had started reading his books just to find out what the heck is going on. Like, I know he is having a different experience of this world, and I have no idea how to help him. And those moments when I was in absolute tears and just bawling and asking for help from the universe, God, whoever wanted to listen to me, I was like, I don't want any parent to feel as lost and alone as I felt in those moments. I couldn't go and ask for help from traditional ways because I already knew what the answers were. I had that experience with Kate, and I knew they wouldn't be able to fully, like, if they couldn't see Kate for who she was, there's no way in hell that they could see Eric. Like, he was beyond their understanding. And all I had to rely on was myself and what these kids were teaching me and telling me. So that is just a smidgen of my story. And I just kind of wanted to start introducing who I am, introducing who my kids are. And we're still on this journey. We are still learning. We're still moving through it. I don't know if anyone else has had experiences like that. Maybe not even necessarily kids of your own. Your experiences as a child. Were they different? And were you seen and supported in the way that you needed to be? That's kind of one of the things that I love asking I love asking adults who are sensitive, who are gifted. What would have helped you as a kid? What would have helped if your parents had done that or done this? What support might you have needed and didn't get? And no judgment from your parents or other parents, because we only know what we know. Like, I didn't know any of this. If Eric had come first, I would have responded very, very differently. Very differently, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know until Kate started coming in and teaching me. And then I started, like, pulling in and tapping into my intuition and no. What I'm feeling and what I'm sensing, this is right. Okay, how do I start telling these doctors and these professionals in our life, no, I don't agree with you. I didn't have a voice when I started this journey. I wasn't really raised that way. I wasn't really raised to say, no, I don't agree. Thank you for telling me that, but I don't agree. That wasn't really the safe place to do that, especially with people in authority. Both of those are things that my soul happens to be working through in this life. But like I said, all of our stories are going to be different. And at the core, though, there's the same, how do we trust our kids? How do we trust ourselves? How do we shift this paradigm? And it is going to be a societal shifting paradigm, because I believe that we don't really look at our kids and see them as someone with a voice worth hearing and listening to and understanding. Instead, it's this old mentality of be seen, not heard, or always do what you're told. And what if we start meeting more in the middle? Obviously there's certain things kids can't do. There's really good reasons for that, right? Don't run into the street. Very good thing not to do. But can you climb up the slide? Is that okay? And I say that with a smile because most playgrounds, some kids getting yelled at for climbing up the slide while other kids are coming down. My experience, I mean, unless they're the really little ones that do need extra help and watching out for, right? Most kids kind of figure it out. And I don't tend to see a lot of bloody noses from collisions on the slide. I certainly didn't have that as a kid. Oh. Well, thank you guys for being here and listening to a bit of my story. I would love if you could share this video to anyone that you think could benefit just from hearing another way of showing up in partnership with all kids. Not just necessarily your own, but children in your life. You can please follow our page, Intuitive Parent Evolution. And I also, excuse me, I also have a Facebook group, Intuitive Parent Evolution, that you are welcome to join and start sharing your story. I also offer coaching. Like I said, this is available to anyone. But if you need extra help, if you need someone to hold your hand and guide you on your path, right? Because I had to find my path. I had to find my kids' path. And it was not the traditional road, the well-paved road that I had been taught to follow. It wasn't the one that we were meant to be on. So I literally, like Brene Brown says, like I had to go into the wilderness. And it was a very scary, lonely place. And it doesn't have to be that way for you. Even though your path will be unique because you are different. Your kids are different. Your life stories are different. So send me a message. I would love to work with you if that's something you're interested in. I also do offer some readings and healing sessions. Ah, my phone's falling. Okay. So message me about that. I do have a 90-day program that I'm doing, Intuitive Parent Evolution. And I have a free introductory call so we can just get on the phone and start talking. Tell me about your family, where you are in your life, which you could use help with. So what I've decided to do to end our time together, now this again may not resonate with you, and if it's not, no problem. But for some people it does. It does for me. So I'm going to do a collective card reading from the Sacred Rebel Oracle deck. Because to do this work as an intuitive parent, as an intuitive person, to be frank, you need to be a rebel. Right? You need to say no. I'm doing it this way because it feels right to me, in my gut, in my intuition. Okay, there's no budget. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a collective card reading for us. This is for all who are watching now, all who may watch later. You know, I really shouldn't be surprised. This is the card that I drew. She feels, she knows. Number 22. First time I ever pulled this card was yesterday, as I was getting ready to do my introductory videos for this. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I really hope, my hope is in doing this work. And there he is again. My hope is to start changing this conversation, to start making our intuition be as valuable as it really, really is. Just if we all started following our intuition what would our world be like? I think it'd be pretty darn different. I think it'd be pretty darn amazing. That's my secret hope. That's what I'm hoping to do. All right, so I'm gonna read this if you are interested. So this card is an illumination erupting from within you as a vision that is bringing what was once obscured into clarity. This is not likely to happen as a blinding, shocking insight, but is more of a softer, gentle knowing. It is like knowing something without understanding exactly when or how you came to know it. Mike, I'm feeling you really strongly right now. I hope that's okay. I didn't ask to tap into your energy. If it's not, let me know, because I want to be respectful. This insight will assist you, and you are asked to honor it. You will know which insight it is time at the right time. Your heart will tell you. Isn't that what I've just been talking about? Following your heart and not what the world around you is saying. I wish I could say that was an easy thing to do, an easy step to follow, that it wouldn't be terrifying. It is, and it is so worth it, in my opinion anyway. You are therefore being asked to rely upon the clarity that is coming to you now, or has just recently come, gently but firmly from that place of knowing. Intend to act and take your next steps forward. This oracle comes to you with guidance, particularly about long-range or long-term developments. Something that is far bigger than the immediate situation, issue, or moment is of importance, although you will only have a dim sense of that possibility at best. Okay, Amy, now I'm feeling you, girl. Your guides are wanting to come through for you. The situation right now may not be one of joy, but in time you will understand more of the bigger picture. You will come to see why things are happening as they are and how you are being helped on to the next stage of your path, even though it may look like an obstacle right now. And can I just say, that has been my parenting journey. It was really hard. Amy knows. Amy saw me more than enough times. It was hard, and it was an obstacle, and yet I've been completely transformed and changed and grown from the process. And now I'm here wanting to help others. So maybe it doesn't have to be quite as hard, or just maybe you're not quite as alone, because you don't need to go through any of this alone. You are being asked to think in terms of long-term happiness. Sometimes this warrants change or even temporary restrictions in the short term. If you can't see how the present can possibly become what you sense the future to be, this message is especially relevant. Through the natural process of transformation, great leaps are indeed possible. And who's not transforming right now? Even if we don't necessarily want to. You simply must be prepared to surrender into the process with absolute trust. That's what I'm doing here with you guys, just so you know. Trust. Absolute trust. I'll get you a plum in just a moment, Eric. It's good. I'm wrapping up because he's not very patient when it comes to food. So this also has specific guidance. The situations in your current life are particularly geared towards a more significant manifestation that is coming to you according to your life path and purpose. Because like I said, all our paths are going to be different. This stage is preparation and a building foundation that will hold you strong and centered as your creative journey unfolds and your life path becomes ever more brilliant and luminous. So keep plugging away. Remain patient, but most of all, be hopeful and trust. Trust in the light you sense ahead of you. I'm going to say also, trust in the light you sense within you. Oh, look, and then what's the next bit? For that is the light within you, simply revealed more fully. And that is happening now. All that is happening now is happening to that end. So, that was again angel number 22. She feels, she knows. Do you want to know what I've been working with today in my stone this past 2 days? Cervestite? Ugh. I cannot pronounce that word right. A stone of transformation. Big powerhouse stone of transformation. From my good friend Mike, Chris, Mostly Minerals. So I want to thank you all. Cervestite. I gotta go like. See how Mike spelled it. Anyway. Very powerful little thing. I've also got some rutilated quartz on me too. Transformation. Transformation. You're so welcome, Mike. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me and sharing this. I really appreciate it. I can fully feel that we're going to make some big changes in this world. Starting in small ways, little ripples, right? Mine started with my kids and how I show up with them in the world and all the people that have seen us rippling outwards. Okay, and with that said, Eric's kind of telling me that it's done, it's time to finish. So again, please share this. Anyone who you think might find this relevant, or just even my story. There's our Facebook group, Intuitive Parent Evolution Facebook group. I also offer, that's free. I also offer coaching, and I do intuitive readings. If you're interested in that, let me know. Get you on the calendar. So thank you all so much. I really look forward to seeing you, hearing your stories, and to working with you in whatever way that comes about. Thank you so much. I'm so